So I'm down at Jersey's docks, which includes an extremely busy and very popular yacht marina, which we'll show some pictures of now. And also down here, the love that Jersey people have for their seafood. And there are various shacks littered around the docks and of course other parts of the island too, selling fresh shellfish and fish for the local people to enjoy. So Dee, what's your most popular product that people buy most?
I sell lots and lots of scallops all year round.
They look fantastic. They're over here, look. Absolutely brilliant. And these are?
Spider crabs.
Spider crabs. And they're one of two types, I think. You've got the brown crab, the shanker crab, and the spider crab. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Is it right that the shanker crab's a bit scarce now?
Yes, it is, yeah. Because they've moved out to deeper water.
Right.
And the price has gone a lot higher.
But I gather these taste nicer.
They're quite sweet. They are good.
Yeah?
They are good.
Lovely. Well, thank you for allowing us to film your wonderful produce.
Wow.
And have a good day.
And you too.
I know. Looks like tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah. And then next week looks a bit better.
26, I think, something like that.
Won't know what to do.
And the
We'll be
tides.
moaning.
Everyone will be
We'll be
moaning
going.
too
Oh, they
warm,
look
won't
lovely.
they?
Yeah. Thank you.
There we go.
So now a quick Jersey ghost story centred around this wonderful pub, which has actually featured on my videos before, the Old Smugglers Inn. Before it was a pub, it was a couple of cottages where smugglers used to bring barrels of brandy. But the reason we're mentioning it now is that reputedly it's haunted. Many people have seen a dark lady downstairs. There's the sound of footsteps going up the stairs, and it is reputed that you can sometimes see a ghostly figure in this window. Once spotted, apparently the ghost withdraws back and you don't see it anymore. Well, I had a lovely pint of Jersey's Liberation IPA in there and no ghost sighted. Am I disappointed? No, not really. So now another supernatural Jersey story. And in the 16th and 17th centuries, all over Europe, there were many witch trials. Standing behind me here in Jersey, Witches Rock, which was at the time a meeting place for witches all over the island. People said that magical creatures appeared, demons were around the area, and many local people were arrested and sent to trial. So was it true or just made up nonsense? Well, I can tell you that local fishermen at the time were so superstitious that for every 13 fishes they caught, they put one back into the sea to appease the witches of Witches Rock. So this is St Clement's Bay, scene of our third and final supernatural story from Jersey. Local fishermen became aware that at certain times during the day they could hear the sound of a bull roaring loudly right across the bay. They soon realised that it couldn't be a real bull, as when this happened the tide was coming in, so they decided it was a demon bull. Many local fishermen, and this is hundreds of years ago, refused to put their boats out to sea, believing the place to be haunted. And we're told one brave fisherman decided to actually follow the roaring sounds of this bull and discovered that as the tide was coming in at a certain part of the bay, it was getting funneled through rocks and into a deep underground cavern which had formed, and it sounded, the resulting sound was just like that of a bull. So here I am at Jersey's Car Ferry Port to explain to you how to get here by sea. I'm going to give you the name of a ferry company, Condor. That's the key you need, because that's the only ferry company which brings passengers and their cars, of course, from the UK to Jersey. Condor, C-O-N-D-O-R, look up their website. Basically, they have two ports they operate from, Poole in Dorset and Portsmouth. There are different options, different boats, different journey times, but basically they're all on their website. Condor Ferries. A look here at some of the scenes from around the ferry terminal and one of their ships, which is actually about to depart. You can probably see passengers and vehicles embarking now, boarding the ferry. So why should you consider using the car ferry at all? Well, it depends what kind of holiday you like. If you're content to stay in, I'm sure, your lovely hotel and get around minimally, then fly over. But if you really want to explore the island, then you should really have your own transport. Hiring a car here is expensive, so bringing your car with you on the car ferry, highly recommended, and of course you'll save a ton on the cost of buying a hire car, especially if you're a family. You'll save even more on flights and car hire when you get here. It's how I always come, on the car ferry with my car, and I think the best way to see around the island. If you do decide to fly, Jersey's airport is to the west of the island. Great transport links from the airport into St Helier, the hub, if you like, of island transport. So you'll be well served that way if you do decide you'd rather fly. Once a year, Jersey hosts the amazing Jersey Battle of Flowers. I'll put up some pictures of it here. Carnival floats, all made of flowers. Some of them dyed, of course. And this tiny little kind of rabbit's tail plant makes up an awful lot of the flowers which go on the floats. There are tens of thousands of them picked in the week before the Battle of Flowers, and as you can see, when they're on and dyed and coloured, they look amazing. So here comes one of the most iconic views in Jersey, the wonderful Mont Orgueil or Gorey Castle, sitting towering above the little fishing port of Gorey. We're going to go there now and give you a bit more about the history of that amazing castle. So as you can see, Gorey Castle, Mont Orgueil Castle, towers over the fishing port of Gorey. It was started in the 13th century, the idea to defend Jersey against the French invader, which it did several times. Several French invasions were fought off by the garrison inside the castle. Rather curiously though, in 1461 the French did invade and they captured it, and they renamed it from Gorey Castle to Mont Orgueil, which is obviously the French version. Now, despite the fact they only held on to it for 7 years, the name has stuck, and we do still refer to it as Mont Orgueil Castle. At one time, the castle was the only jail in the island. Lots to see inside, quite steep steps to climb, but definitely worth a visit. And now a few more scenes from around this lovely harbour. Then, as it's lunchtime, I'm going into one of the pubs in the centre of the town, the Dolphin, to have a real local delicacy. So I'm now at that Dolphin pub, the Dolphin, which I mentioned, which serves a wonderful dish, local speciality, moule marinière. Now, moule and mussels, marinière means really sailors or seafarers' mussels, so sort of made in the way that sailors like them, and they are just wonderful. They're cooked in shallots, white wine, some butter, a little tiny bit of cream and parsley, and they are a real local treat. When they arrive, I'll show you what they look like. That won't be for long because I'll be eating them. So now I'm at Jersey Docks, and I'm going to do something that I haven't done for many years. We're going to leave Jersey behind, and we're going on a sailing trip, a day trip, as a foot passenger to the sister island of Guernsey. St Peter Port is totally charming, especially the old quarter where I am now. But be warned, if you're going to explore a bit, it is quite hilly in places, having to catch my breath a bit. Here are some more scenes from around St Peter Port. And that's it for what has been a brief trip to St Peter Port in Guernsey, and I hope you've enjoyed looking around as much as I did. So the start of a new day, very early morning in St Helier. I quite like to come in early before things hot up, if you like, before it gets too busy. Quite a cafe culture here in St Helier. You see, particularly in the summer, a lot of people outside cafes having a coffee before going to work, which is a little bit different, I think, to the UK. I'm not sure that they sit outside during the winter, of course, but here are one or two little scenes of people, you know, having a break and a coffee, as I say, often before they go to work. So here I am on the steps of Jersey's Parliament, if you like, the States of Jersey Assembly. And of course they are autonomous, they make their own laws, and it's all done in the building behind me. So I'm kind of standing outside Jersey's Parliament, if you like. I'm now standing in Jersey's Liberation Square, built in the 1990s to commemorate the liberation of the island from the Nazi occupiers in May 1945. At that time, the hotel behind me, the Pomme d'Or Hotel, was the central headquarters for German Nazi naval operations. And when the island was liberated, rather famously, a British soldier scrambled up that balcony and raised the Union Jack to show the liberation of the islands. Every year on Liberation Day, which commemorates that historic day, the same thing is done. Someone scrambles up the balcony and plants the Union Jack. And I always love to come in Jersey's wonderful Victorian indoor market. Fresh fruit and vegetables, and they even bake their own bread as well. So now I've come to one of my favourite small Jersey beaches. This is wonderful, Grave de Lec. It's, as you can see, not the largest beach, but it's sandy. And the great thing about it is you can swim whenever the tide is low. You can swim. And Grave de Lec is a working fishing port as well. As you can see, tractors take the boats in and out of the water as the fishermen make their way to to try and get some jewels of the sea. Lovely little bay. That was my look at Grave de Lec. Lovely pier. You might be able to park on the pier. Buses come here direct as well, and there's some wonderful little cafe on the pier as well, which is the food fantastic, not expensive. Could be a great day out at Grave de Lec. So you find me now in the village of St Peter, in the parish of St Peter. This is St Peter's village. We're here because there's a statue here which was only erected fairly recently to a figure who's very central to not only the history of Jersey but to the history of the United States. The person in question is George Carteret. George Carteret was very much a royalist during England's civil wars and a great friend to the king at the time. As a result of his devotion, after the settlement of the Civil War, the king gave him a present, a little part of the new state of New York in the New World, as it was then, in America. He became governor for a while of that little part of America that he owned, and here's the key point: he renamed it. He called it New Jersey. This is the amazing St Juan's Bay, loved by surfers all over Jersey, with the waves coming in straight off the Atlantic. Fantastic rollers coming in, spectacular as you can see, and really popular for the surfing community. What a great beach this is. So here we are at possibly Jersey's most iconic landmark, the lighthouse at Corbière, built in 1873. We're at low tide at the moment, but you can see from the rocks it stands on how dangerous they are and how it protects shipping from hitting them. It was only in 1970 that it became electric. The huge paraffin lamp that was in it until then was finally replaced. During the Second World War, it was dimmed on the outbreak of war and fully lit again at the end of the Second World War. It's a beautiful thing, the first lighthouse ever in Britain to be built in concrete, and as I say, a total icon here in Jersey, Corbière Lighthouse. Now that huge sandy stretch of bay you can see over there is St Juan's Bay. During World War II, if the Allies had attempted to invade the Channel Islands, they'd almost certainly have tried it there, and consequently in this area there are many surviving German fortifications, even within eyesight here. The first one in the middle of the picture over there, a second gun emplacement just below me here, a large bunker here, probably a command and control centre, and then just up the hill this very large German observation point, gunnery observation tower. We covered the German occupation of Jersey quite extensively in my previous video, which you can search out, but if you are interested in that portion of military and world history, lots and lots of evidence of it here in Jersey. So I've stopped now at another amazing Jersey bay, the long sandy bay of St Aubyn's, and we're going to look now at St Aubyn's Harbour, and I'll tell you all about the history of that. So the first foundation stones for this lovely harbour were laid in the 1540s, and it became the base for Jersey cod fishing in Newfoundland. Cod fishing was incredibly rich. It was said that if you took a boat out to Newfoundland, you only had to lower a basket to fill it with cod. So not only were Jersey boats going the incredible 1,700 miles to Newfoundland, but also boats from Britain as well. And as they came back here to Jersey with that valuable cargo, they were at risk of being attacked by pirates. Hence, St Aubyn's Fort was built, which you can see in the distance here, to ward off the threat of having their cod stolen. Today St Aubyn's Harbour is a pretty idyllic setting. Lots of cafes, restaurants around the harbour. A really popular spot and definitely worth a visit. Make sure you plan it for when the tide is in. So here we are. Yes, I know I covered it in my last video, but Rozelle Bay is just too special to ignore. So some scenes from this wonderful little bay, Rozelle Bay. And there, fairly clear today, the coast of France. So whereas Jersey's southern and western beaches are all about sandy beaches, swimming, the north coast is all about fantastic cliff scenery and cliff walks if you want to do them, and cliff views if you don't want to do them. Views like this. Up here on the north coast, it's very quiet, very peaceful and very natural. Many wild plants, insects, butterflies, birds, beautiful. And of course, down below, quite a bit down below, about 1,000 feet, is the sea. I must say, on what is an extremely hot day today, it is nice to sit down in the shade on this bench where I am, with the sea breeze keeping me a little bit cooler. And that ends our little look at the very different scenery on the north coast of Jersey. So that's it for my Jersey video for this time. Before I go, I'd like to thank some people for making my holiday wonderful, but I'd also like you to like and subscribe. We've got a few to go to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'd love to get there. Don't want to go on about it. So without further ado, a big thanks to my lovely mum, who you can see on the far left, my lovely sister Kathy in the middle, and her pal and partner Rab nearest the camera. So thanks for making my holiday brilliant, all of you. You've fed me, you've taken me round, you've really looked after me. But above all, what would I like you to do?
Like and subscribe.